What's good, guys? It's CSG. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down everything we need to know about fuel and elements in Illuvium Zero. For anyone who doesn't know, Illuvium Zero actually started off as a mini game and has now developed into a full-fledged game. The land inside of Illuvium Zero is actually the thing that was sold in the land sale at the start of June. The land sale generated an incredible $72 million. The game itself is actually a city builder, something along the lines of Clash of Clans or a Sim City, and the aim of the game is to actually extract fuel and elements to use in the Illuvium universe. The elements you extract in the game are going to be used inside of Illuvium Zero for you to further develop and expand your city, whereas the fuel that you extract is actually going to be used inside Illuvium Zero, and more importantly, is actually going to be used in every single Illuvium game that's ever created in the suite of games they come out with, which is incredible. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what the uses for the fuels are, as well as the elements inside of the Illuvium universe. Something else I'm going to mention in the video is something called a landmark. There are different possibilities for landmarks, depending on whether you have a tier 3 or a tier 4. A landmark on a tier 3 plot of land is going to focus solely on elements, and we would call that an elemental landmark. And a landmark on a tier 4 plot of land is going to be focused solely on the fuel. So that's going to give you benefits for extraction of fuel and conversion of fuel. Each landmark is going to have the exact same benefit and bonus. It's just going to differ based on the specific fuel or element that it represents. The first benefit is that it increases the production of the element or the fuel that it is based on. Essentially, what this means is that you're able to extract your fuel or element at a much more efficient rate. And the second benefit is that it reduces loss when converting to your specific element or fuel. So for those of you guys who've played Catan, you guys know that if you're trading with the bank, you're trading 4 elements for 1. And if you have a dock, you're able to do that, I believe it's 3 to 1 or 2 to 1. So you're getting a much better exchange rate. And essentially that's what it means. If you have a landmark to your specific fuel or element and you need to trade into that or out of that, I think you're gonna have a better exchange rate there. Before we go further, I do wanna make it clear that this information can change in the future. And if that does happen, I will make an updated video. But this is the information we have for now, and I want to say a massive thank you to Nick, Khaled, and Johnny for taking the time to share the information with me from the Illuvium team. Like I said, before the alpha, as of this video right now, the time right now, this is the correct information. And if it does change in the future, expect an updated video. All right, so now let's go straight into the fuel. The first fuel I want to talk about is Hyperion. You're going to find Hyperion on your plot of land inside of Hyperion reservoirs, and you're able to extract that from your land by using a Hyperion extractor. The purpose of Hyperion in the Illuvium universe is that it's used for curing shards. So shards in the overworld are going to be used to capture Illuvials. So you can think of them as your Pokemon card or your Yu-Gi-Oh card, essentially, where you go out and you put them out, capture the essence of the Illuvial, and you can then play it and use it whenever you wish. The landmark that gives the bonuses to Hyperion, and forgive me for butchering the name, is a Pegmatite Swarm. The second fuel that I'm going to talk about is Krypton. And you're going to find Krypton on your plots of land inside of Krypton Rifts. And you're able to extract that by using a Krypton Gate. Again, bear in mind that these names might change in the future in regards to the things that are used to extract these elements and fuel. But for now, it's a Krypton Gate. The use case for Krypton in the Illuvium universe is to travel. I think this is very interesting because for you to even go out into the overworld and capture the Illuvials to play, you're gonna need fuel to travel. So this is the fuel that's gonna be necessary for all things, essentially the base fuel for you to go out and even experience the overworld, for you to explore, for you to go and find and have that adventure. You're going to need this fuel, and that is Krypton. So in my opinion, this is actually an incredibly important fuel. And let me preface this by saying, I think all of the fuels are important, but I think this one plays a special role. The third and final fuel is Solon. You're gonna find Solon on your plots of land inside of Solon trenches, and you're gonna extract it using a Solon dredge. The main purpose of Solon is, and this is one I'm super excited for, is crafting. And this means crafting everything from new weapons, new gear, the skins that we've been seeing, everything that requires us to craft is going to require Solon. The landmark that's going to give us the benefit for Solon is going to be called a falling star. So those are the three fuels and exactly what they do. So number one, you have Hyperion, and that's going to be used for curing shards. So again, like I mentioned before, think of them as your Pokeballs. They are going to be absolutely necessary for anyone looking to play the game. If you don't want to play the overworld and you want to buy it off the secondary marketplace, the person who bought it is going to have used the shard. So Hyperion is going to be incredibly important. Second, we've got Krypton, which is used to travel. Linking it to the first, if you want to even use your shard on an Illuvial, you're going to need to travel. So traveling is the foundation of everything in Illuvium. So if you want to play the game, someone is going to need to travel. And if they're going to travel, they're going to need Krypton. So again, incredibly important. And lastly, Solon. And I mentioned this before, again, crafting. I'm excited for crafting because if you want to expand your experience, if you want to get deeper into the game, you're going to need to upgrade and craft a better jetpack. You're going to need to craft better mag boots. Everything in this game you're going to need to craft, and that's going to require Solon. The thing that's more exciting for me is actually the skins. Can you imagine all the armors that we've seen, but actually on your character in the overworld when you're playing the auto battler, something that really represents you? And if you want to craft something like that, you're going to need Solon. What's interesting about this is that none of these, in my opinion, are more important than the other. I think we're going to find a pretty good balance where we're going to need, and there's going to be a demand for each fuel. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out. So moving on to the elements. The elements are hydrogen, which you're going to find in lakes, and it can be extracted by using a pump. The landmark for hydrogen is an eternal spring. The second element that you're going to find is called carbon, and that's going to be extracted from the carbon outcrop using a sediment excavator. The landmark for carbon is something called a primeval marsh. And lastly, the final element is something called silicon, and you're going to find that on your land inside of a crystal deposit, and you're going to extract that by using a mine. The landmark for silicon is something called a halogenic geode. So this is where I have a bit of alpha for you guys. And this is information I got from the team. And like I said, I'm going to again preface this. It could change in the future, but this is just the information I have now. Essentially, the team is somewhat pivoted on how they're going to use elements inside of the game. What I've been told is that each action inside of the game itself regarding developing of lands or developing of buildings or activating them, the utility, those things are not going to require just one element. And what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. Let's say we're scanning for a blueprint, and that's more of a scientific action. So it might require more silicon than carbon. So let's say that it would require, these are just fake numbers by the way, let's say we require 3 silicon and 1 carbon for that, and maybe 1 hydrogen. So the ratio of what we need there is different, but it leans more towards silicon, which is based more for the science. And what their goal is here is to try and balance the economy so that one element isn't more in demand than the others. They're trying to balance it all out to make sure that each element has a role to play and isn't skewed at all, that it is as balanced as possible, making it an engaging experience for us as players. Something that I need to touch on before I end this video is that nothing in this alpha stage of Illuvium Zero is going to be monetized. We're not going to be able to sell the fuel on the marketplace. It's not something that we can do. That will only really happen once we go live with the open beta and the launch of the Illuvium main game itself. But there is something insanely massive for those who are aiming to collect the blueprints for skins. In this alpha, we are able to go out and try and collect as many blueprints for skins as possible, and that won't be wiped when the open beta comes out. We are actually going to hold onto those blueprints and keep them. And I've also heard a rumor, I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, the blueprints we get during the alpha are going to be exclusive for the alpha. So once the main game comes out, they're going to refresh the blueprints that are available, and those that got those in the alpha, that's it. So it'd be a really cool way to show that, yo, I was here from the very beginning, running around in the overworld with your Illuvium Zero alpha skin, the armor, or when you go into Ascendant Arena, you look like you're an actual OG. For me, I'm super excited for that. I'm really excited. From looking at the skins that have already been leaked, I am so excited. I think the art style, everything about it is so cool. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for sticking around and getting clued up on the fuel and elements regarding Illuvium Zero. By the way, guys, I've got a new schedule. So I'm going to be posting a video every second day, and the days in between I'm going to be streaming on my second channel. If you haven't subscribed to that channel already, I'm going to put it up right here. It would mean a lot to me if I've ever added any value to you guys, whether it's entertainment, education, anything. If you just want to kick back with me, watch me stream some stuff, I'm going to play some games, I'm going to react to some things, and just kind of just have a good time. If you want to see me do that, please hit the subscribe button there. It would mean a lot. Anyway, guys, let me know, did you get land? How do you feel about your land? Everything like that. Let me know down below in the comments what you think of that land now you've got this information. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.